This is big breaking news. Governments are now announcing that they are going to give tens of millions of dollars to change the weather, change the earth, and release chemicals and potentially even pollutants into the sky, into the air, and change the environment and even block out the sun. That is what's being announced right now. Let's get into all the details here really quick, guys. Please just hit that like and hit that subscribe. I'm posting every day, keeping you guys updated on this big news, and it just helps to get these alerts out. I appreciate that. So right now, we have multiple things going on, but the big story is that coming out of the UK, the government there has just announced that they are putting over $50 million into, quote, blocking out the sun, quote, dimming the sun. This has been approved by the federal government in the UK, and this is going to be a federal government program there. This is absolutely insane because the UK, from what I've seen people comment down below, from what I've read, from just what I've seen from pictures and videos, it already seems like this is a cloudy place. It already seems like it's relatively cloudy here and not very sunny, right? I've seen people say multiple times whenever there is a sunny day, they feel like the sun is then just blocked out, right? And people say that in the US here all the time too, but now they're admitting, yes, we have this program. They've already been doing this for decades, but now it's official and they are allocating over $50 million to do this, all right? And the UK is not that big. It's only the size of a state, essentially, in the United States. And $50 million is a lot of resources to be blocking out the sun here, right? So it's going to affect the weather. It's going to make things colder. They're also saying that they have been doing this as well through shipping, right? They release sulfur dioxide into the air to brighten the clouds, okay? And they're also they release salts into the air to brighten the clouds. Certain salts, not sulfur dioxide, but they release sulfur dioxide to block out the sun for this dimming. It's one of the main things that they release, and sulfur dioxide actually creates acid rain. Okay, so it's potentially making the environment more acidic and making the soil more acidic. And if the soil becomes too acidic, then you cannot grow crops. Certain crops cannot absorb certain nutrients and certain acid ranges, certain pH levels for the soils. If it becomes too alkaline or too acidic, certain nutrients are not available to the plants and they will be stunted, and certain plants will also not even grow. So it's potentially altering the soil as well too. And I want you guys to look at this. We're talking about how this is a program for the UK. All right, this is the program for the United States. Okay, this is a official website. All right, this is climate.gov. Let me see if I can get this a little bit better here so you can see. Here we go. Climate.gov. All right, this is a offshoot of the NOAA. This is an official website, and an official notice was put up in October of last year, around 6 months ago. It says solar radiation modification. This is kind of like the blanket term and the scientific term for these processes to block out the sun. All right, so this is NOAA saying this. It says solar radiation modification refers to deliberate large-scale actions intended to decrease global average surface temperatures by increasing the reflection of sunlight away from the earth. This is just insane. This is I don't know. This seems so dumb. I'm sorry, to just block out the sun. All right, this is insane. The sun is the main driver of weather. It's the main driver of plant growth. All right, plants need sun and they need CO2 and carbon, and these are the two main things that are under attack. And we're being told that we need to block out the sun and we need to eliminate carbon. This is going to affect crop growth and plant growth and could potentially even affect yields where we're growing less food. If they're blocking out the sun, the plants are going to be less productive and we're probably going to get lower yields and could even cause a crisis in that sense if it's taken too far. All right. And it says, how does SRM work and how might it be achieved? This is an official website of the NOAA, climate.gov. It says here, SRM, solar radiation management methods cool the surface by preventing a portion of incoming solar radiation from reaching Earth's surface. By contrast, GHGS warms surface temperatures by trapping a portion of outgoing terrestrial radiation that would otherwise be emitted into space. SRM methods reduce surface warming without addressing the fundamental cause, rising levels of atmospheric GHGSs, and thus does not offset the impact of carbon emissions, right? So they're saying that carbon essentially is trapping this heat in, right? This is the theory that they have here. But wouldn't this trap in light and heat as well too? Okay, because the light that does make it through, now it's under this blanket. Isn't it getting trapped underneath the stuff that they're spraying to block out the sun, right? And doesn't that create a heat barrier and a heat layer where heat can get trapped as well too, right? We've seen these weird things like these weird heat domes, right? This happened last year and even the year before. It'll probably happen this summer where we keep hearing this term, these heat domes, and it feels like you're in a heat dome too. I was in one of these, I think it was 2 years ago now, and it's this like overwhelming heat and pressure, and maybe it's creating a heat dome, right? Maybe these giant blankets that they're creating, right? And you can see it too, okay? I'm just like, I'm really sick of people pretending. We can tell there's normal clouds. We know what normal clouds look like. There's certain things that do not look normal and they do not look like clouds. And a lot of times it's this blanket just over the sky that's blocking out the sun. It'll be right over the sun. And you can even see here, this is on the NOAA website, right? This is their own graphic here. I didn't make this. This is from our government. This is from the National Oceanic Administration. Okay, so an atmospheric administration. So this is an official government graphic here, and they're saying this is a real method, right? And they do it here in the US all the time. And it's kind of unregulated for the most part. They apply for a permit, most likely at the state level, and it costs maybe a few $100s, maybe a few $1,000s. It's really not that much. It's not like it's costing them millions of dollars to get these permits, and there's the extreme vetting and all these things going on. They apply for this permit. Some places it's a few $100s. They get rubber stamped, and then they're able to do experiments as they please on the weather, on the environment. And sulfur dioxide, one of the main things that they use, is potentially acidifying the soil, acidifying the water, acidifying the environment. It even makes acid rain when it interacts with the air and the sunlight, right? And they're saying here's the different types. Stratospheric aerosol injection, that's where they're reflecting the incoming sunlight. Marine cloud brightening, that's where they're also reflecting sunlight, all right? Cirrus cloud thinning, strategy for modifying the properties of high altitude ice clouds to increase the transmission of outgoing terrestrial radiation to space. So they also thin clouds to, I guess, allow heat to escape, all right? Surface albedo enhancement increases the reflectivity of surfaces, though, for example, white roofs and land cover changes, right? They actually did this in the Arctic last year, maybe a few years ago. They released all of these white little microparticles in the environment all over the place, just white little particles that are reflective to try to reflect back the sun all over the ice, all over the Arctic, all over the place, these little micro beads. and just I don't know. It's like these insane things. I'm sorry. These things just they they sound insane. I'm sorry, and I'm for like practical technology. I don't think everything has to be like the most high tech thing to come up with a solution, but I don't know. It seems insane, right? There's also space-based methods, proposed methods primarily considered large mirrors in space to reflect sunlight. Some of these things, you're not going to win the battle against the sun, right? The sun's going to do what it's going to do. It's going to enter the cycle, whatever cycle it's entering, it's going to enter and it's going to happen. And there's really not much we can do. The best we can do is prepare for the changes, if any changes are happening, and prepare for the outcome, right? And capitalize on those things. Who knows? Maybe parts of the world and parts of the country will become more habitable. Maybe Canada will become nice and warm or warmer, and we'll have more farmland, okay? Who knows? We just need to figure out what's going on and try to be prepared for it, be ready for it. I don't think doing these insane methods are really going to do anything, and maybe a lot of them are even causing issues, right? Like acidifying the soil, exposing people to carcinogens and inhaling these things. I don't want to be breathing this stuff in. And what happens? It's a slippery slope when it's unmanaged and we don't really know what they're spraying, what they're doing. Anything could be sprayed, right? And I don't want to be dealing with that and be breathing that in. It's something that affects everyone, and there's not really much you can do to it when it's sprayed above your head all over the country and all over the world, right? It happens all over the world. For some reason, these operations are happening and they want to block out the sun so bad. Why is this? What exactly is going on? And they're just talking about how volcanic eruptions have similar effects to solar radiation management. Well, then let's let these things happen naturally. There's a volcano. That's something we can deal with. There's also major side effects to volcanoes where they can block out the sun. If they're big enough for weeks, months, even years, and cause problems with growing crops and problems with the soil as well too. The ash could cause pH imbalances or pH shifts to make the soil not good for growing, right? So this is an official program and it's happening all over the world. Let me know what you guys think, why it's happening, what's going on. But they're just voting on it, they're approving it, and they're funding it with our taxpayer money, all right? So you're literally funding for people to manipulate the weather. So I don't really want to do that. I don't want my taxpayer money funding that. I'd rather not, all right? We had the EPA head, Lee Zeldin, actually come out and say that he's investigating the company is called Make Sunsets, where they are releasing balloons filled with sulfur dioxide into the air to pop into the air and release it. And companies are buying carbon credits from them, right? So it's this whole money-making scheme as well too, where companies cause pollution, they cause real pollution, right? And then they'll go buy these, quote, carbon credits to offset it. And this company like Makes Sunset sells carbon credits. And then when they buy carbon credits, they release a bunch of sulfur dioxide in there. So they just release more pollution into the air to offset the pollution that the company did. It doesn't even make sense. It's like this big money thing. And then they get lower interest rates, they get better loans, they get access to different programs, things like that, if they're following these certain rules and regulations, right? So it's also just a big money racket as well too. They got $50 million, right? These companies just got $50 million from the UK government. They want that $50 million. They're going to use that and they want that, right? So people are making a lot of money off of this stuff as well too. So let me know what you guys think down below. Please hit it up for me down there, guys. It just helps to get these warnings out, just so people know what's going on here. And this is happening in your own backyard. Almost every country on earth has some type of program, and almost every state in the United States has their own program as well too, right? Texas has their own weather modification entire branch of government for weather modification. They have a whole website and tons of resources about it telling you exactly what's going on, right? States all over California, right? They have their own cloud seeding and weather modification system and branch of government, okay? And a lot of the counties do as well too. Inside of California have their own cloud seeding programs for their regions. So this is happening just 2 years ago. The feds gave millions of dollars to cloud seed the Colorado River. It's happening in the US, it's happening in the UK, it's happening in Europe. I've seen people even report cloud seeding happening in Russia and China and India, right? I've seen pictures from all over the world of these cloud seeding operations. So I think it's happening in almost every single country, at least every country that has, a modernized, airport system, an airline system where they can actually get these planes out here to do this, even in Middle Eastern countries. Do you remember those floods that happened? I can't remember the country off the top of my head, where I think it was the UAE, where there was massive flooding maybe 6 months ago, maybe more now, and all these videos came out where they were showing on state TV their cloud seeding operations. They were showing the guy in the plane. He's like, "Oh, we flip this switch, and we do this, and we fly this pattern, and then we fly up into the clouds that are already there at this certain angle, and then we flip the switch, and we release the silver iodide." The guy was explaining the whole thing, how they're doing cloud seeding there, and it's happening all over the world, right? And it's potentially causing flooding. It's potentially causing problems with crops, potentially causing problems even with your health, respiratory issues, and just issues for your hormonal production. And things like vitamin D are directly produced from your skin interacting with the sunlight, right? And a lot of hormones are also produced as well too. So sunlight, you need it. You need it to touch your skin. You need to be outside. And when it's blocked out, you're not getting the same intensity, and you're not converting these things from your skin as quickly as when the sun is shining bright on a nice sunny day, right? So let me know what you guys think down below. Please hit it up for me down there, guys. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying prepared out there. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.